Hi everyone, so today I'm filming what is supposed to be called the mid-year freakout book tag, but I've never really been comfortable with that name because the word freak is considered an ableist term, and I've always noticed that, but not many people talked about it. So I thought, oh, I'm just gonna do this tag and I'm just gonna ignore how uncomfortable I am with that name. But then someone pointed out on Twitter, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not the only person who thinks this. So instead, as you can see from the title of the video, this video is called the Mid-Year Book Check-In, which still works as a name. You still know what I'm doing. I'm checking in the middle of the year of what books I've read so far. So other than the name, I haven't really changed anything about this tag. So yeah, this is in no way to take credit for whoever made this tag, but I'm just gonna change the name because again, I'm not comfortable with it, and neither are a lot of primarily disabled people who are not comfortable with it. So yeah. So that introduction was quite long, so I'm just going to get into the questions now. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far this year? That's kind of a difficult question to answer because I've read quite a few good ones, but I think I'm going to go with A Kind of Spark. I do own this book physically, but I'm in too much pain today to grab it, because it's on my bottom shelf, and then I have to move a bunch of books, and I don't want to do that today. I really enjoyed this book. If you want to know my thoughts on it, I'll link the video where I talked about how I felt about this book here. So yeah, I really enjoyed that book. Then the second question is, what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? I don't really read a lot of series, and I'm trying to change that this year, but I haven't really succeeded. So I'm just going to answer with the only sequel I've read so far this year, which is A Gathering of Shadows. I did quite enjoy this book. I don't remember how many stars I gave it. Maybe 3.5, 4 stars. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm not the best at reading series, so this is the only sequel I've read so far. So this is the only one I can answer with. Then the third question is, what is a newly released book that you really want to read, but you haven't gotten the chance to read it yet? And the ones that I could think of, because I usually don't keep up with new releases, I just wait for people's reviews to come out, and then I pick a book based on whether I think I would like it or not, because I don't want to buy a book that I potentially won't like, even though that does happen quite often, no matter how hard I try. But I have picked 2 books for this, and the first one is The Passing Playbook. I heard about this book on Twitter, and I heard that it has really good representation, and it has an autistic character, which you probably already noticed if you watch my channel. Whenever I find out that a book has an autistic character that is written well according to other autistic readers who read the book, I will immediately buy it. So yeah, this is one of them. I'm really looking forward to this one. I wanted to buy this book this month, but then it suddenly became more expensive. So as you guys also know from watching my videos, I don't buy books that are expensive. I always wait for them to go on sale, so I'll have to wait again with this one, but I am really excited for it. The second book is a book that I saw people talk about on Instagram, and that is the book Detransition Baby, which I honestly don't really know what it's about, but I'm assuming it's about detransitioning. Yeah, the reason why I want to read this is because I've seen so many people say that they really love this book, and so I want to read it. That's basically it. Then the fourth question is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, which, like I already said with the previous question, I don't really pay attention to new releases that much unless I find out about them through social media, and I see a lot of people say that they love it. But the one book that I am quite looking forward to is Iron Widow. This book, I'm not sure if it's fantasy or not. I honestly don't really know anything about it, other than I think the author of this book is really cool, and it has a polyamorous relationship, which I haven't read like any books, I think, with a polyamorous relationship, which is a shame because I feel like that's something that I need in my life. But yeah, I don't know what this book is about. I just know those two things that I just mentioned, and because of that, I'm looking forward to it. Then the fifth question is, what is the most disappointing book you've read so far this year? And for me, that is this book. I'm not going to pronounce it because I mispronounce the first word of the book every single time. This book is a well-loved book in the book community. A lot of people like it. I did not. I think it's one of the first times that I ever gave a book 1 star, because I don't usually do that, but with this book, I didn't like it. Mostly because I just couldn't connect to the characters, which I usually don't really have a problem with that. But with this book, I just couldn't connect to them, and they just felt very flat for me personally. And also, I didn't really like the way that in the book there is a trans woman who's not really a side character. She's just mentioned a couple times, I think twice. So she's not even a side character, she's just mentioned. And the way that she's mentioned is really disrespectful, and I just read that and I put the book down and I was like, I don't even want to finish this now. I was already bored while reading it. I wasn't interested, and then you throw in some transphobia, now I don't want to read it at all. Now these characters who already didn't really connect with me, now they're also being transphobic. So now I don't like them even more. I was really sad that I didn't like this book because I thought I would. I was excited to read it, and so I really wanted to like it, but I just didn't. So yeah, don't kill me for that one, because I know there's a lot of people out there who really love this book. Don't kill me for saying that I didn't like it. So just please respect my opinion. Then the sixth question is a much happier question than the last one, and that is, what is the biggest surprise you've read this year? So a book you really liked. And for that, I picked 2 books. One of them is Two Boys Kissing. I read this book this month. I only finished it a couple days ago, and it's so much better than I thought it would be, as you can probably tell by the amount of tabs that are in this book. I really enjoyed this book. I guess I just didn't understand what the full premise of this book was. When I explained it in my June TBR, I just said it was about a contest about 2 boys kissing, but I didn't realize that it was narrated by people who died of AIDS. I didn't know that, and so when I started reading it, I was like, wow, this is a lot more sad than I thought it would be. I thought it was gonna be just a light read. It was not. I cried multiple times. But yeah, I didn't expect this book to be this good at all, and I'm really glad I read it. Yeah, you'll hear more of my thoughts about this book in my June wrap-up, which will be posted after this video. So yeah. Then the second book that I chose for the biggest surprise that I've had this year so far, in terms of books that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This book, I bought it during one of the only times that I was actually outside this year in a bookshop, and I did not know anything about this book. I didn't know anyone who had read it before, and so I just bought it because it looks really cute. So I bought it, and then I decided to read it on a whim, very soon after I bought it, and I really loved it. As you can again tell by the amount of tabs in this, I really loved it. I'll also link the wrap-up video where I talked about this book here. I don't know how that works. Hopefully I figure it out before I upload this video. But yeah, I really liked this book, and it was definitely a surprise because I didn't even know that this book existed until I saw it in a bookstore. So yeah, I'm really glad that I picked it up that day. The seventh question is, who is your new favorite author? Now, I don't really have favorite authors because I don't know why, I just don't. So this question was really difficult, but I decided to just pick an author that I was really surprised by and who is a new author to me. So for this question, I chose C.J. Drews, which I'm 100% certain I mispronounced the author's name, but I tried my best. This is one of their books. I'm currently reading this one actually, and she also wrote 1,000 Perfect Notes. I read 1,000 Perfect Notes and I really enjoyed that one. I am also enjoying this one, but I think I actually like 1,000 Perfect Notes more, unless the ending of this book changes things. But I'm definitely gonna look out for like more books that this author releases. Then the next question is, who is your newest fictional crush? Which I've always disliked questions like this because I can never tell whenever I have a crush on someone or when I just want to be them. So this was a very difficult question for me, but I chose pretty much all of the characters in the Fence series. I think that's what it's called anyway, but yeah, the characters in these books are very attractive. Like, I think anyone thinks that they're very attractive people, and yeah, just all of them. Like, again, I don't think I actually have a crush on any of them. I just want to be them, you know? We have that gender envy whenever I see them, which is a word I didn't know existed until like a year ago. And that perfectly explains my feelings whenever I see some of these people, especially this character. I hope I'm gonna be able to find a picture of him. Yeah, especially this character. I wish I could be him, but I'm not. So yeah, not me going to a gender crisis in the middle of a booktube video, but we're gonna ignore that. Then the ninth question is, who is your newest favorite character? I don't really have an answer for this because I really have like favorite characters, so I'm just not gonna mention anyone. So we're moving on to the 10th question. So the 10th question is, what is a book that you've read so far this year that made you cry? Now, I'm someone who cries at basically everything. I mentioned this when I read Peter Pan, which is a book that I didn't like, and I still almost cried at the end, even though I disliked the entire book. So yeah, I cried a lot. So I'm gonna pick my 2 favorite ones out of the ones that I cried at, and that is Everything I Never Told You, which I did a reading vlog reading this book. So again, I'll link it. There's so many videos that are gonna be linked in this video. Like, I'm giving myself more work. So yeah, anyway, I did a reading vlog on this book. I cried, I looked like a mess in this video, but then again, I also look like a mess in this video because I am just going through a really bad mental health period right now, which I'm going through that pretty much every single day, but right now it's particularly bad. My room looks like an absolute mess, and there was a mess like right here, and I just shoved it aside for the video so that nobody is able to see my cave of depression that I'm currently living in. So yeah, please appreciate the effort that I put in this video, even though I look like a mess and my room is a mess. The other book that I'm gonna mention for a book that I cried at is a book that I don't think I've talked about on this channel yet, which is a shame, honestly, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I really loved that book, and I cried at it a lot. Yeah, that book broke me, and I'm not gonna think about it anymore because I'm gonna cry again if I think about it. So we're moving on. The 11th question is a book that made you happy that you read this year. And for that question, I'm once again gonna mention I'm depressed. Like, I'm never happy. I can't remember the last time that I was happy. So yeah, no book makes me happy, but I'm just gonna mention a book that is like a comfort read to me whenever I'm really depressed and I just want something to make me feel things again other than depression. So that is Gakuen Babysitters. And this is just a really cute manga about like a boy who has to like babysit the kids of the teachers in the school. And the babies are really cute, even though I'm someone who doesn't like babies or kids in general. I still think they're really cute, and it's a really cute manga. It's also really sad sometimes, but yeah, at least whenever I cry at this book, I'm not crying at my own misery. The next question is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year? And for this question, I once again have two because I couldn't choose between them. The first one is one that you won't be surprised at if you watched my previous videos, and that is Felix Ever After. I have always loved the cover of this book ever since it came out, but then I found out that it also had these sprayed edges, which just makes the book like 10 times more beautiful than it already was on its own. So yeah, I really love how this book looks, and I'm currently also reading it, and I'm quite enjoying it as much as you can enjoy a book about transphobia, but I'm sure that's not the main theme of this book. It's also like finding love and stuff like that, but right now we're just focusing on the transphobia. So yeah, I hopefully will finish this book this month, and then I can talk more about this book and my wrap up and in the future, other than saying over and over again just how beautiful this book is, because I think that you guys are getting a bit sick of it. Then the other book that I bought this year that I personally find really beautiful is Cemetery Boys. Now, you might look at this book and think, wow, a hardcover? I've never seen you hold one up ever. That's because I usually don't buy hardcovers, but once again, this one was on sale, so I bought it. I have no idea why it was on sale because it looks perfectly fine, but yeah, I guess I just lucked out. This book is really beautiful. Obviously, that's why I put it in this question, but I also know that a lot of people love this book, so I'm really excited to read it. Hopefully I'll be able to read it soon. And also, this book, for some reason, as well as Felix Ever After, actually, are just books that I look at and I don't know, like it makes me want to get a tattoo, which I don't know why, it just does. And like I said, Felix Ever After is the exact same, which for that book it actually makes sense because Felix, who is on the cover, has tattoos on the cover. So that would make sense as to why I want tattoos when I look at that book. But for this one, like nobody on the cover of the book has tattoos, or at least like visible ones. So like why do I look at this book and just go, I want tattoos? Like, it's really weird. Anyway, very beautiful book. Then finally, the last question of this tag is, what are some books that you want to read before the end of the year? Which this part of the video is really gonna be something that I look back on at the end of the year and just go, yeah, I really didn't succeed in that. So hopefully I will succeed in it. Hopefully I'm wrong and I'm being too cynical, but yeah. The first book on this small list is A Conjuring of Light, which is the third book in the Shades of Magic series. Like I've already said, I'm really bad at reading series, so I at least want to finish one series this year, because otherwise I'm going to be really disappointed in myself. Hopefully I'm going to be able to finish this book before the end of the year. I am quite intimidated by it just because it is quite big, but yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to finish it. Then the next book is Show Us Who You Are. I was supposed to read this book this month, actually this week. I was supposed to read this book and make like a reading vlog for it, but I'm just not in the mood for it. Not for the book, but just for filming a reading vlog. Like filming this video already is very difficult right now because I just want to turn the camera off and lay in my bed and cry. But I, put makeup on very badly, but I still put it on and, dressed myself in a semi-cute way. And I'm filming, so yeah, that's better than nothing, but still, I didn't manage to read this book. I know I'm not going to be able to read it before the end of the month, so yeah, I do want to read this year, and I still want to do a reading vlog for it, but not this month, but hopefully before the end of the year. Then another book that I want to read this year, which is also going to be quite difficult for me because it's also fantasy, is Legendborn. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. A lot of people love this book, and a lot of people say that it doesn't really read like fantasy, like it reads very fast. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to read this book before the end of the year. I guess I should more say hopefully I feel in the mood to read this book before the end of the year, because I almost never feel in the mood to read fantasy. So yeah, hopefully for some reason I'll feel like reading fantasy books, and then I'll just read every single fantasy book that I own. But that's probably not gonna happen. The next book is a book that I have very high expectations for, and because of that I'm really scared to read it, which is why I still haven't, and that is The Song of Achilles. This book is very well loved on the internet, and I'm really scared to read it because of that. People say that, the ending is very sad, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. That just tells you how much of a bad person I am, that I look forward to sad endings, but only when I'm in a certain mood, and that's the mood that I'm now in. So, I'm still not gonna read this book this month though, but mainly because I want to do a reading vlog for this book, because I want to film myself crying, because I feel like people would be interested in that, to see how I would react to this book. And even if people are not interested in that, I'm still going to do a reading vlog. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this book, but I'm also really scared because I don't want to hate it. But hopefully I won't. Then the last two books on this list are the books that I mentioned in the previous question. So obviously the first one is Felix Ever After. Like I said, I am currently reading this book, and I just want to see if the outside is just as pretty as the inside. So yeah, I'm currently reading it, and you'll hear more about my thoughts hopefully in my June wrap-up. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it by next week. Then the other book from this previous question, and the last book on this list, is Cemetery Boys. Like I said, I'm really excited to read this book because a lot of people love it, and a lot of people say that the representation in this book is really good. So yeah, I really want to read this. I'm also really scared to read this one because I feel like I'm hyping myself up for it, and I don't want to overhype it, but a lot of people seem to love it, so I'm just gonna take my chance and, say that I will probably like it, but I'm still scared to read it. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna be able to finish this book before the end of the year, and hopefully I'll be able to finish all of the other books also before the end of the year. So yeah, that was the last question of what was previously known as the mid-year freakout book tag. Like I said, I am gonna rename it. Again, I'm not trying to take credit for the tag, but yeah, I'm just uncomfortable with it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, especially because I had such a difficult time filming it because of how bad I feel and how bad I think I look. The second I started filming and I rewatched a little bit of the footage, I kind of wanted to immediately stop filming, but I didn't because I had already dressed myself, and I thought, well, if I look ugly in this video, I look ugly in every single video, so what does it matter? If you watched this video until this part of the video, thank you for that. I guess put the books that you want to read before the end of the year in the comments. I look forward to reading them. I look forward to reading all of the comments. That's honestly one of the best parts of doing YouTube, because I get to see what people think of the videos. And yeah, I'm really enjoying doing YouTube, even if it is very difficult. I talked about this a bit on Twitter today because I was quite upset about how inaccessible a lot of book tags are, because they're often see how many books you can carry, or stack up as many books as you can and make it to your height. And a lot of those things I can't do. I can do them, but then I won't be able to do the rest of the video because I'll be in too much pain. I had a bit of a bad time today finding videos that I could film. So yeah, the day didn't start off great, but hopefully book tags will become more accessible, I guess, soon. But yeah, if you have ideas for some more book tags that I could do that don't require like physical effort, like carrying books, seeing how many you can carry them, stuff like that, like seeing what books you have on your bookshelf. Like I can't do any of those tags because they take too much physical effort. So if you have like ideas for tags I could do, put them in the comments. I'm gonna end this video here because I feel like I'm repeating myself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.